Hello and welcome to Getting to Good Enough, a podcast to help you let go of perfectionism so you can do more of what you love. I'm Shannon Wilkinson, a life coach in Portland, Oregon. I'm a recovering perfectionist who's getting better at good enough.
And I'm Janine Adams, a certified professional organizer in St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm lucky enough to be naturally good at good enough.
And today we're talking about the importance of getting clear on your goals. Hey
Janine. Hey Shannon, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. It's December and I'm like getting into the end of the year spirit.
Me too.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's, I think, we're all sort of ready for 2020 to be over.
Right. I've never been more happy to turn the page on a calendar, even though, of course, it isn't magical to turn the page on the calendar.
No, it isn't. It isn't. But, I think we can probably do a few things to, now that we have this year, as we get this year under our belt, there are some things we can do to make 2021 a little easier on ourselves.
Yeah, and that for most of us, certainly me, use that calendar year, that January through to December, to evaluate. The end of the year, evaluate, plan for the following year, and so forth. And it feels like there's lots to evaluate.
Yes.
Lots of planning that might come out of it as a result. And it might be different this year. I don't know.
Yeah. It'll be sort of interesting to see how it all sort of pans out and what we will learn about ourselves and what really matters to us, when we do take the time to look at 2020 more deeply. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm going to be leading a class on that in just a couple days on Saturday, a New Year reset.
Yeah, so people will have the opportunity to really do just what you said, to evaluate and think about next year.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, and then we'll also be talking about our good enough goal setting process, mm-hmm. which we've talked about on the podcast, and then we also have the kit that people can buy if they're interested in learning a little bit more about that. So we can link to all that stuff in the show notes.
Right, and we can link to your class because people can actually sign up for it if it's not yet Saturday afternoon. December 12th when you hear this. If it's before that, you can sign up.
Yes.
Which I think it would be great. I signed up. I am, I can't get enough of this stuff. I can't get enough of hearing you, Shannon. And I also can't get enough of this kind of information. I just think it will be really helpful for me and for everybody in the class.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, today we wanted to talk a little bit about getting clear on your goals. And what we mean by that is not necessarily about getting specific in terms of creating SMART goals, because I think that's what bit everybody in the butt this year, that mm-hmm. if they were goal setters. I know, when I look back at the goals like that I set at the beginning of 2020 and, it's travel more, even, what?
If I'm remembering, you did get some travel in the first 3 months of 2020.
I did get some travel in the first 3 months of 2020. And then I also got a little bit of travel in. I saw parts of Oregon that I never saw before when we did our pandemic RV trip.
Right.
But I did not walk across Portugal like I intended to do.
Right. So sad.
Yeah. Or go to New York, or, there were a few other trips that we expected to go on that didn't happen. But I think one of the problems about coming out of a year like we've had, it's easy to set goals, or make resolutions, or sort of look forward thinking about what you don't want.
Yeah, especially after a year that feels negative.
Yeah.
For many people.
Yeah, and I think it would be really easy to just sort of be like anything but this year.
Right. Right. Do you think, is it, when you're talking about a goal that is what you don't want, does that include something like quit smoking? I mean, is that a negative goal or is that a positive goal?
Quit smoking is a little bit of a tricky one because you need to be committed to not smoking anymore. But to be successful at it, you have to actually decide what you want instead.
Right. Know why you want to quit smoking.
Know why you want it, and know, because the thing about something like smoking is there are a lot of habits and routines that are caught up in that. And so just wanting to not smoke doesn't resolve all of those things. So you have to think about what role smoking plays for you and how you'll replace that.
Oh, that's really interesting. That makes perfect sense. And I would imagine, I've never smoked, but I would imagine that there's so many triggers throughout your day to want things that you do that make your body crave a cigarette.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just the routine of it. And things like, if you're a smoker, then you have a way of taking a break on a regular basis. Because you go, and a way to get outside. Go outside to have a smoke. It seems a little weird, but how will you give yourself the breaks that you need throughout the day? Or, some people find camaraderie in smoking. They all go out and smoke in the smoking spot, and they have their friends that they chat to out there. It's like how will you get what you want and what you need that you've been getting through smoking?
Right. Yeah. Same. And then imagine the same goes for lose weight. I mean, with lose weight, it's a little easier to think about what you want.
Yeah, but the thing about losing weight is it's generally not going to be, I don't want to say permanent, but long-term weight loss unless you are clear on why it's important to you and what you actually want. Like, what does losing weight get you? And if it isn't something that matters to you over the long term, then it's probably not going to work. I mean, you're probably not going to lose weight over the long term. So framing it in terms of what you want, like, if you want to lose weight because you want to live longer, or you want to be able to walk up the stairs without being winded, or because you want your knees to stop hurting, or whatever reason you want your clothes to fit better. But knowing what you want as opposed to what you don't want helps sort of guide you in the direction of what to go. Because when you think about it, if you're just like, if you're just thinking about what you don't want, like, Amy Silverman, who is part of the organization that's sponsoring me for the class this weekend, she when she talked about the class on Facebook, she said for 2020, her resolution was to feel less anxiety. So,
boy, that didn't work out, probably.
No.
Bummer.
But so the thing about something like that, to be less anxious or to feel less anxiety, you have to think about what anxious feels like or what anxiety feels like. And then you have to think about the absence of it, as opposed to thinking about what you do want. So, like, what would become possible for you if you were feeling less anxious?
Right. And I would imagine trying to notice the absence of anxiety is a little tricky, whereas it would be easier to notice the presence of something you want.
Right.
That's actually, I just realized that's what you were saying.
But you said it in another way, which is perfect.
Okay,
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's great. That makes so much sense. And so knowing those things can be a really important step in, or getting in touch with those things in the process of setting goals or resolutions.
Yeah. Well, and that's why people get really caught up on creating SMART goals, is because it makes it something that you know that you're moving towards, you know that you're experiencing, you know that you've achieved. But, I have a lot of problems with SMART goals because a lot of times people create SMART goals that they don't have any control over. Mm-hmm. You don't have, in our businesses, you don't necessarily have control over, how many new clients you get in a period of time, but you do have control over, how much you're showing up and talking to people who are likely to hire you. Mm-hmm. So, setting up SMART goals around things that you don't have control over, I don't think that's very useful, and I think that sets you up for a lot of disappointment.
Right. And do you are you able to say, in case people don't know, what SMART stands for?
Oh, let's see. Specific, measurable. I should know this, but yeah. I'm like so anti-SMART goal. I blocked it out of my mind. I can't
come up with it either. Well, people can Google it, but it's an acronym for, just in case I was afraid maybe somebody thought you were saying we should have stupid goals. Not smart ones.
Right. It's specific, measurable, assignable, relevant, and time-based.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's very corporate-y.
Yes.
Yeah.
Attainable. Different people say different things, but specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. That's what I remember it being. Now that right. I've had my memory refreshed. But it's like, in theory, those things are great, but in practice, a lot of people still set SMART goals that they don't have control over, or, they just end up being something that they can be disappointed in. Mm-hmm. So, and that's why, that's how the good enough goal setting came to be, which originated as Beyond Resolutions.
Well, it originated as, the thing that we did was called Why Resolutions Don't Work and How You Can Get What You Want Anyway.
Right.
Before that, it was Beyond Resolutions?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry.
That's okay.
I did, yeah.
It's good to have an archivist in our joint endeavors.
I don't usually remember anything, but that was such a mouthful, that particular product, that it stuck in my head. Yeah.
Yeah, but the idea is, and we're talking about one of the first points there, is that, with a lot of resolutions in particular, people talk about what they don't want. Mm-hmm. And so if you can think about and consider what you do want, it helps focus your energy in that direction and helps you know whether or not you're achieving it.
It really is like the secret ingredient to goal setting, I think, or a secret ingredient anyway. And it's so worth the effort to figure it out. I can't wait for your workshop because intend to. I'm hopeful that I will come out of it with some great ideas of things I want to consider for my goals. I have a day set up the following week, next week, for setting my goals. I already set that time aside. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so this will be a nice way to kick it off.
Yeah.
Last year, when we talked about this, we talked about the Cultivate What Matters power sheets. And then I think we both bought them. It's a goal planner. And I did them faithfully in December. And then, as we talked about in July, the pandemic came along, and I completely forgot about them, the goals. And we dragged them out in July and talked about that. And since then, because I put it in my Trello board, I've been keeping track. I've been revisiting them every month since July. So because I ignored them for 6 months, I had 6 months unused in my planner. And so I was able to purchase, in a moment of frugality, the 6 month undated version. So now I'm going to have my year's goals, goals and accountability split into 2 volumes. But I'm looking forward to using that tool to help me, because I think it does a nice job of at least getting me thinking about the positives and not what I don't want.
Yes. And it's interesting because I also did mine, all the way up until March, and then didn't think about it again until we revisited it in July on the podcast. And it was interesting. There are clearly ones that became moot points. Like, one of the things I wanted to do was to have more people over to our home. But it has helped clarify for me what really matters. And that's one of the things I'm going to talk about. We don't really have the time to get into it today, but I'm going to talk about it on Saturday, is, sort of how to use what we've learned in 2020 as we go into 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many lessons in 2020, I think, about what matters and also priorities. And I think for many people who are dealing with, for whom COVID has directly affected their lives. I mean, whenever you have a health scare, it tends to shake up your priorities.
Right.
And also, I keep thinking about preparation. We haven't been touched by COVID personally, but what if we are? And one of my goals is maybe it's morbid, but is to revisit our wills, which we wrote 25 years ago.
Yeah.
and nothing's really changed with that. We have a help more money than we had 25 years ago, but it's not like we had children or anything. But that's in there. And 2020 is really pushing that. I mean, knowing the uncertainty of things. And so anyway, I got to figure out the steps I need to do to make that work, make that happen.
Well, and that's one of those things where, it feels like a little like you don't really want to do it. But if you consider the peace of mind you'll have once it's done,
exactly,
that helps move forward with it so much more easily.
Yes. And the other thing is the sharing of passwords. Barry has LastPass, so I just got his LastPass password, master password. So,
and also LastPass has a built into it. It has a mechanism where you can name someone to get your passwords, and I can't remember how it works, but it's set up so that someone can access all of your passwords. Should you be unable to do so. And they have there's some sort of double there's a way in which they do it that someone couldn't just access it without your knowledge.
Okay. So there's security protocols built into it.
Yes, that's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah, because that does sound dangerous otherwise. And I'm sure that Barry, when he set it up, put me down for that. But yeah, I don't know. That's good to know. I'll have to ask about that.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing, just, for a little tiny LastPass commercial, you can give people access to log in on different accounts without them actually knowing your login information.
Oh, that's good. Huh.
So it's like you can put stuff in a folder. You can put different password, different login information into a folder that someone has access to. But when they go to do it, it's all grayed out. They can't see it. It's just the dots.
Cool.
So they can log into stuff, but they can't change it and they can't see what it is.
Right.
Which is great. And then you can also have shared folders, which Mike and I have for all of our financial stuff and streaming services, because those are the two most important things.
Right.
So, we can just use the same logins.
Right.
Which is great.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, just a little sidetrack there. A few little tips. But back to knowing what you want. I think it's going to be really important to pay attention to that and to look at the things that were satisfying and the things that you found wanting and how to bring those things together in 2021.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Now, I think almost feels like this is one of the more important years to be doing this. Like, this is not the year to coast on this stuff, because we do have this opportunity, I think, to learn from we have had such a an unusual experience as a world. And,
yes.
Especially as in the United States, and we want to make sure we benefit from it as much as we can, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I mean, if you have to go through something that's difficult, you might as well pull as much value out of it as you can.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. And this isn't to be like Pollyanna about it and, find the silver lining and what's positive and, turn it into a positive or whatever. But it is, I learned a lot.
Yeah, exactly. I don't feel like, in fact, I felt like I was being too negative. So, yeah, this is definitely not a Pollyanna thing. This is just like, let's scrape out of this what we can.
Right.
And there is stuff regretfully there are silver linings without a doubt. And there are lessons.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I have become reacquainted with the simple pleasures of going for a walk and free movement and, just being in a neighborhood I enjoy.
Yeah, you have a lovely neighborhood. I like my neighborhood too, but we both have really walkable neighborhoods, and that's a nice thing these days.
Yep. Yeah. So anything else on getting clear? I think just to touch on perfectionism with this a little bit, that it's easy to think you have to come up with the exact right thing. And really, I think about it more as pointing yourself in a direction.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that crossed my mind is when you're evaluating how you did on your goals, I would imagine it might be tempting to not cut yourself slack because you didn't perfectly achieve them.
Right.
But there's progress that's probably been made just by virtue of the fact you set the goal. It's going to help you make progress that you otherwise wouldn't have made.
Well, and I think there's also value in learning what didn't matter to you over the year that you thought was important at the beginning of the year.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's good. Yeah, and that could be an interesting filter through which to look at 2020's goals.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Well, we would love well, first of all, I would love, and Janine will be there, so I'm sure she would love too, to see you on Saturday. You can find information on how to sign up for that on the show notes. And then we also have our Good Enough Goal Setting Kit, which there will be a link to in the show notes.
And that I just have to throw in there, that includes hypnosis. So
it does.
Who doesn't love a little hypnosis?
So, if you find that thinking about goals or resolutions or how to move forward from 2020 to 2021 has you feeling a little anxious, then consider this as a way for you to relax a little bit into the process.
Yes.
But otherwise, we would love to hear from you. How are you taking what you can from 2020 and bringing it with you into 2021? How are you looking forward? You can let us know on Facebook or Instagram at Getting to Good Enough. On Twitter, we're at GTG Enough. We'd love to hear your voices at 413-424-GTGE4843, where you can leave us a message, or you can always comment on the show notes at gettingtogoodenough.com. But for now, this is Shannon Wilkinson in Portland, Oregon.
And Janine Adams in St. Louis, Missouri.
And we hope that good enough is getting easier for you. The main thing I learned is that this podcast is very important to me.
Oh, isn't that nice? I feel the same way.